Joining me now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley of the Judiciary Committee. Senator, if conservatives are let down once again, what do you say?
Well, I'd say that this is the moment, Laura. I mean, we've waited 50 years for this. This is the case, and that became clear today. I mean, we can't wait any longer. This is the time to overrule Roe. You know, the court badly damaged its legitimacy. I mean, you just pointed this out. It really badly damaged its legitimacy back in 1973. If the court really cares about its legitimacy in the way the justices were talking about today, then they will follow the Constitution, and they will allow the people to actually start exercising democracy again. So I say this is the moment, this is the time, and this is the case to do it.
Now, Justice Thomas started the questioning off today, and this is a question where he hit on the right to privacy, whether that's really grounded in the Constitution. Watch.
In the old days, we used to say it was a right to privacy that the court found in the due process, substantive due process. What are we relying on now?
When it comes to decisions related to family, marriage, and childbearing, the court has done the analysis at a higher level of generality, and that makes sense because otherwise the Constitution would reinforce the historical discrimination against women.
Senator, historical discrimination against women? So in other words, carrying a child is a punishment and totally diminishes, I guess, any woman's ability to be free in the United States. That is a wild type of legal reasoning when you really start to unpack that.
Yeah, it is wild, and unfortunately it's something that the left has bought hook, line, and sinker. And what about the interests of the unborn child? Many of whom are females, might I add. I mean, what about the interest of the unborn woman in the womb? And this is something I thought that Justice Kavanaugh pointed out brilliantly, that, listen, there is an interest here throughout the pregnancy in the life of the child. And can I just say this, every justice on the United States Supreme Court has acknowledged in past years that there is an interest in unborn life. The question is, when does that interest become compelling? And the answer is that it's compelling throughout the pregnancy because the unborn child has rights throughout the pregnancy, and it's time that the court recognized that and got out of the business of imposing their moral views on the rest of the country. That's not the court's place. It has badly damaged their legitimacy. It's time to stop that, and it's time to allow the American people to reclaim the basic promise of America, Laura, which is that in this country, every person has inalienable rights, and that includes the unborn. They have inalienable rights. They too are valuable. They too are protected. And it's time to let the people make good on that promise.
Well, Kavanaugh, went to great pains to reaffirm that the court would not be outlawing abortion. A lot of people who, read the headlines don't realize that this would merely be returning it to the states. As Justice Scalia said, some states would have it be legal, other states would have restrictions in place. And then if the people didn't like that, they'd vote the state legislatures out and they'd start over. So I think, again, a lot of people think that means there would be no abortion, which I think a lot of conservatives obviously want. But that's not what this court would be doing in overturning Roe, correct?
No, that's exactly right. This is about democracy. This is about the people of this country actually having a say for the first time in 50 years on this important question. And listen, this is a moral question. I mean, the abortion issue is a moral issue, and that is exactly why the American people should get to have a say. And 9 justices shouldn't be imposing their moral views on the rest of the country, and we can't do anything about it. So this is about democracy, and it's about returning this issue where it belongs, which is to the American people in the states. The Constitution commits it to the people. The people should have the final say here.
Now, Obama's former SG, I guess he wants everyone to believe that constitutional conservatives are actually a danger to America and the court. Watch.
These justices are not just kind of conservative. They're far to the right of even where Republican Party justices have been in the past. And so it's not a mystery when one asks, well, why is institutional legitimacy of the court dropping? It's because the court is out of the mainstream of American society.
Well, he's obviously talking about more squishy justices like Justice Souter. Obviously, Justice Kennedy's flip vote in Casey was just devastating for those of us who believe in, states' rights to determine these questions. But Well, what about that argument? What the left is worried about the court legitimacy now? They weren't concerned when they threatened court packing last year.
Yeah, indeed. And what has destroyed the court's legitimacy in many ways, and what has turned the court into a political football, is Roe. It is the court legislating from the bench what the rules are going to be for every state in the nation, for every person in the nation. And by the way, Laura, they change their minds all the time. The court is constantly rewriting the abortion rules. This is another fiction of the left that, oh, it's been the same for 50 years. No, it hasn't. It changes all the time. And the lower courts have no idea what the rules are now because the Supreme Court is constantly rewriting it. This is why the Supreme Court needs to get out of the business of imposing its views on abortion on the nation and let the people have their say. That's what the Constitution commands, and that's what will restore the court's legitimacy.
Senator, thank you so much.